Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Tinkering with Tech. We did a lot of tinkering today with the tech, that's for sure. No, look, hey, listen, we appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody coming out. We had a guest. Guest had something come up with his real job, so he could not come on. So I know
Unbelievable.
the nerve, right? So and that was Kyle. He's a friend of mine. He's a product expert like I am, a Google product expert, and he wanted to, but he had something important come up for work, and I said, "Hey, look, dude, I totally get it. I know you're getting paid for that. You're not getting paid for this." So, and then when he found out he wasn't getting paid for this, he said, "I can't come on anymore."
Anyway. I was just gonna say, so you told him he wasn't getting paid. He's not gonna come back next week. What the heck, Michael? That was unwise. All right.
I know, at least Monopoly money or something, right? Anyway, look at there already. Look at there. Dear Mert. You are so sweet.
Getting us started. Thank you, Myrtle. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. That was awesome. Thank you so much. We always appreciate that very, very much so. Go ahead. You're about
I was just going to say we have some other folks in the audience. Not
Dave,
just.
How are you, my friend? Good to see you.
Dave's out there. Richard's out there telling us how to get here. We got Roy, which means we've also got Andrew. It's so cool how he splits himself up between the two channels. I love it. Thank you for being here.
So meanwhile, we did get a guest. We got a guest we're excited about.
Yeah, who apparently doesn't have a real job.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
No, this is a real honor and a real pleasure for me because she is an absolutely awesome dear friend of both of ours. And I'm very excited that she's here because I cannot wait to learn. There is nobody on this earth who handles time. Like I picture her holding a clock in her hand. She's like the power of time.
That's right.
Manages time.
Like Atlas held the globe. She's holding a huge clock.
I believe so.
Let's get her on. Debbie Davis. Hey, Debbie.
Hi, you guys. The honor is all mine.
I'm so really, I mean it though. I see you now. I do have to tell the audience. I've met Debbie in person, and she's about this big. So for her to be holding a clock, I mean, it's going to be massive to her, but it'll probably be one about this big to you and I.
Valid point. Point. No, but what's awesome is that you're going to share with us something that's really. I've always wanted to try and do this, but I've never been able to actually make it work. So hopefully you're going to help us today and help us decide on how to, because, and Debbie, we've had this conversation. I use Google Keep for taking notes and all that kind of stuff, but I also use my Gmail and my calendar and all that kind of stuff. And I color code a lot of things in all of those, but you're going to show us how to incorporate Google Tasks. So, which I was blown away. I met with her this weekend. Anybody that doesn't know, I got in a hangout with her, or we sat there and we just went through, and she's like, she had these tasks. And I told Heather right away, I said, Heather, Debbie's going to come on some point and talk about this. And she's like, okay, what about tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm like, can we do the show now? Like, is that possible? So we've got a few Debbie fans in the audience. Few Debbie fans. We got Mark and Andrew and Mert.
Yeah.
We're all we all play games together.
I know. Good friends. Yeah. Okay. So this is really exciting about Task because just like Michael, I have wondered about this. I've utilized them. I shouldn't say that. I have checked the box for them. They've been on my calendar. I don't know what in the world to do. So I cannot wait for you to teach us about calendar. We're talking about Google Calendar and utilizing tasks for time management. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. And when I was thinking about this, because we were really not going to do this for a few weeks, so I was contemplating, how can I present this so that it would, people would understand what I'm doing. So the fact that I just stepped in today, like 2 weeks before I was ready to do anything.
I know. I was just going to say, so in true Debbie form, like a professional, she's like, sure, of course I can do this. I'm totally available right at this minute, at the very last second to jump in and do it. No problem.
But what I realized is that the reason I came up with this cool way of using Google Tasks is because I was sick to death of my email being a frightening place to be. And it all started with my email. And then it went to tasks. And then I realized that, oh, guess what? They look really great on the calendar. I can put all of those together at once. And it changed my life just in the last 2 weeks or so, that it's really made a difference.
I can already predict the future. I think Mark Barris has pulled over his truck on the side of the road and is actually watching this intently, because I believe he is absolutely terrified of his email inbox as well. I've seen it, so I know I'm terrified of it.
You got to put his comment up there, because it's good.
Is it?
He heard you. Yeah, he heard. It's like he heard you.
Well, I know. That's why I said I was predicting the future even before I read that. Yeah.
That was pretty clairvoyant of you. That was really awesome.
Yeah. I have those powers sometimes. Cool. All right. I can't wait. Have we stalled enough? Are we screen sharing, or what are we going to do?
Whatever we need to do, we can do that. One thing that I wanted to mention, though, and Debbie, this is great, because one thing that like you said, you're looking at one thing, your calendar, but you tie in your Gmail and stuff like that as well. So it's a combination of things, which helps you to not just have it in one place, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, just everything you do is not in your task list. You have to do emails. You have to do, a calendar. You still have to do those things. It's just part of that and becomes part of that.
And what's nice is that you put all the three things together. So no matter where you are, whether you're in your calendar or you're in your email or you're on your task list, you can see all those other things at the same time. And, so you're fluid going through those three very important places. Well, as you pointed out, Heather, I live by a clock and a calendar, two very high-tech tools, a clock and a calendar. They just happen to be digital. And then I put those together and voila, you've got a task list. So
that goes like way, way, way back. There was a sundial, and then there was the star. So you still have the calendar and
these are tools that we've been using for centuries and centuries and centuries. So,
all right. So where do we start with this? Obviously we have to have Gmail or Google Calendar.
So what I'm going to do is, because the place where it's working for me really well is in my real job. And so I'm not going to pull up my real job information. Instead, I'm going to pull up my very messy personal email box and use that, because it's just full with mostly just junk, really. And so I don't want to, I just don't want to.
Proprietary.
Proprietary. I love that word, proprietary.
No,
yeah. And then you'll just have to I'm just going to pull up like one of the most really boring tabs on my email. And I guess I can just start there, and I'm going to kind of give you a real quick demonstration of how that works. Will that work?
And we just hopped in here without any, this is how StreamYard works or anything about it. So do you want to know how to screen share, or have you already figured it out?
I'm seeing a little icon on the bottom of my screen that says share screen. So,
there you go.
All right. And if I blow anything up, then I'll be back.
No problems. Okay. No problems. I have super glue right here.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm clicking that. It says screen sharing is easy with two monitors. Okay. Got that. Oops. What's that, Mike? Oh, never mind. See, and electronic notifications, those save my life.
Right. We were just talking about that before you got in here. Actually, Michael and I were setting up notifications on our thing there too. So
got to do that. Okay. Do you see my email yet?
Yep.
Oh, I can see it on that screen too. Well, that's perfect. Okay. All right. As you can see, this is my personal email address, my personal email box, and it is just loaded to death. So I haven't cleaned this up because I am really using this technique over on my business stuff. But over here on the right-hand side of the screen, I actually have my task list open already. And I'm going to go ahead and close it so that you can see that I've got the tasks all ready to launch with this little blue icon.
In the side menu, on the
In the
right-hand side menu. Yes. Got it.
Correct. Yes.
I think I love this part because it's integrated with email. This is why I love this so
Calendar.
much.
And calendar.
And calendar, but I thought I'd start with email because I think email is probably a pain point for a lot of people.
Love
I mean,
it.
look at this email box, for goodness sake. Whoops.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mess. Okay. So I'm in my
and Google Docs. I just want to add that. It's all of them. It's so
beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm using all of those interchangeably all day long. So here I have my email, and let's just say that this is in fact, a real email that I'm,
Sure.
working on. Okay. So House Magazine sent me something. And I'm looking at their email, and they're telling me what they want me to do, or maybe they're giving me a suggestion. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that, but I don't have time to do it now. But I want to get this email out of my inbox. So I come up here to this little 3 dots at the top.
I love it.
And that's going to send it over to a task list. Now, I should point out that to be most efficient, if I say, oh, I want that to go over to my personal task list, because you can have a bunch of them, I'm going to open my tasks first, and I'm going to decide which list I want to put it on. Well, I only have, because again,
as a personal account. Gotcha.
So I'm going to create a new task list. And I am, by the way, getting ready to do a kitchen remodel. I'm so excited about that.
Ooh.
So I'm going to make a kitchen remodel task list now. And right now you see it has nothing in it, but I'm going to put this in here, and I say add to tasks. Now the task now comes up automatically with the subject line of that email, which may be not exactly right. It might not prompt me to do what I wanted to do. Right. So I click that 3. Yeah. So I can rename this, and I can just say, add pics to idea book, because I'm creating an idea book for my kitchen. And then if I want to add any details, like, remember,
we need to do this by the 21st or something.
Well, no, remember to share this with Nancy, who is she's my designer, who's gonna, because she told me to put together my pictures that I want, and then she'll help me with my design. I know I'm not going to get to do this until Saturday, so I'm going to put it way out here on Saturday. You don't have to assign a date for it, but I'm going to, because I like to have a task list when I get up in the morning. So on Saturday, wow. It goes to my task list. You can also assign a time for it if you want to be that granular about your planning. But in this case, it's going to be Saturday. I'm going to be messing with it. I'm not going to give it a time. I'm just going to say Saturday. Now, if this were something that I were to repeat, you also have the option to repeat it once a week, once a month, once, every third Tuesday, whatever you want. So you've got that. But again, for this, I just want to do it on Saturday, and I say, okay. And then I close it, and then I can go ahead and I can archive this email. It's now off my list.
Oh my goodness. So and it's out of your hair, but yet it's not gone.
It's not gone because the really wonderful thing is that I'm going to close up my task list, but now I want to go to my calendar. So I'm going to open up my calendar here. And on Saturday, you see up here on the right, there's that task.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I can click on that from the calendar, and it shows me that it's in the kitchen remodel.
Mm-hmm.
And I can view the related email from here as well. So now I can open that email from there when I'm ready to do the task at the time I have blocked to work on this project, and I can open up the email, and there's all
even though you archived it, it still pulls it back. So you didn't delete it, you archived it. That's the key, right?
Yeah, and I like to archive, particularly really general stuff like this. I archived it. I didn't have to decide what folder to put it in, so I can remember to go back and find it. I just archived it. Now, if I had deleted it, that would be a problem.
Right.
You don't want to delete it, but your archive will hold all that stuff, and that's not in your face every day. So, but on Saturday, when I'm ready to do this, I've got all the information that I need.
In the calendar.
Right there in that email. So that makes it really, to me, very valuable because it's out of my email, but it's going to get done because it's on my calendar.
I have a comment. I have to bring this up because I'm totally relating to you, Mert. This is exactly how I feel watching you do this. Now I understand task interfacing with my Google Calendar. I just never took the time. And I'll be honest with you. I said in the beginning, I played around with this, but I didn't get it. I did not understand this at all. And you have totally cleared that up. And all you've done is 5 minutes worth of explanation. So, but it doesn't even end there though. I know.
Right. Let me add something to what you're saying. And here for me, okay. I find by adding a time, it works really well. And the reason that I do that is because, so at 8:30, I'm going to do this. And at 9, I'm going to do this. And at 9:15, I'm going to do this task. And then I'm going to do at 9:45, I'm going to do this task. This one's only going to take me 5 minutes. So this one's going to be 9:40. So then I see them in order, and it also gives it to me. Even if I don't do them in order, at least I can find out how long those tasks are taking me to do because I'm identifying with a time. For me, that's conceptually a way of tracking that, but it also puts it in order for me because I go in and say, okay, I want to do this in sequential order. And then if I can't, for whatever reason, I found myself going, okay, this is why I can't do that. So if I have that same task again, let's just, I mean,
and I understand what you're saying. And whenever I'm coaching anybody on productivity and time management, I always tell them, do what works for you. But because I've had some people tell me, I can't use a list like you do, Deb, because I look at that list and it stresses me out because I have so much to do. And if I have to take a phone call, I feel like, oh, I can't because I've got something on my calendar. So I try to take that into consideration when I offer suggestions on how to do it. But Michael, for you, and sometimes I do put a time with it, particularly if I know this is a priority.
Right.
And I've already dealt with part of it in the morning, but I'm waiting for some sort of a response or something like that. And I'll say, I'm going to move this task and I'm going to put it at 4 o'clock to make sure I get this done by the end of the day. That's my cue. When I've got a time on it, that tells me this is a priority for today.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because my task lists are sometimes, 20 and 30 items long. And I know I'm not getting them all done. There aren't enough 15-minute blocks on my calendar in one day to get everything done. But I want to keep them in front of me. So I just stack them all at the very top of my calendar like that. And then I get to them. And that also serves me because I'm the kind of person who says, I like to do something when the spirit moves me. So if I feel like working on that particular thing today, it's on my task list. I'm like, oh, you know what? That particular kind of thing shows up 6 times today. I'm going to do that because I'm in the mood to do that. And that's when I do my best work anyways.
One thing that,
Heather, did we just lose Heather?
Yeah, we did, but that's okay. We can keep going. One thing that I found too is, and I think Mark has brought up the question too, and this is the way I am feeling on this. I don't complete that. If I don't complete, will it stay on my calendar? I notice that I have uncompleted task. My thing, what I like to do is I recap the day. At the end of the day, what I do is I take everything that hasn't been done, I push it to whenever I feel like it can go. That's but you have to get in the habit of pushing that over. It doesn't automatically do it, right? I mean,
that's absolutely correct. Yeah. And I'm looking at Mark's comment over here. Does it show up on the calendar as a reminder or a task? I just looked and I have 191 reminders for today. It shows up as a task, Mark, and I don't use reminders, but I have seen the prompt that asks me if I want to transfer all my reminders to my task list. So I haven't played with that, but Mark, you might take a look at that and let us know if that, how that works for you.
The thing that I like about reminders is those same reminders are the same ones in Google Keep. So I can do a voice reminder. I love that. And it pushes over into the reminders into my calendar. So I have it on my calendar as well as in Google Keep. So I wish, and reminders do push. If I'm not mistaken, I think reminders do push where tasks don't. But like I said, if you get into a habit of, okay, these are the ones that were, so because when you check them off, I don't know if you showed that, but if you check them off,
if I show it as complete, do you want me to show you how it works on a completed task?
Yeah.
All right, so let me go over and open up my task list.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. So I've got my kitchen remodel, and then this is my Debbie Davis. This is my general. I always start out with a very general list, and then as I work with that list, I realize that I can break it out. So let's go to one that I know is really old or something. Artwork uploaded to TrepStar project files. Who knows what that is? That must be from years ago. But when I click the done list, or the button here, and there's like 4 different ways you can mark it as complete, but I mark it as complete, and it drops down here to 1 completed. Now, if I want to ever look at my completed tasks, I go to the bottom of my task list and I click on this completed task list, and it opens up. It shows that I have 104 completed tasks, so I can look at those at any time.
Yep, that's nice.
And then if you need to open it up to look at it in detail, you have to uncomplete it in order to open it and look at it again. But it will hold all of your completed tasks at the bottom, stacking the most recently completed at the top of that list. And at any point, you can delete them completely by clicking the garbage can, or you can do a global empty
nice
that says, delete all of my completed tasks and get those out of your way.
Mert says, I like pushing. Mark says, how do I push? Changing the date and time. Does it change the date and time when you move it to the new?
Yes. So if I was looking at it in the calendar view, so I'm going to go to my calendar again, which is right there. So if I was looking at it in my calendar view, and I say I've got this Denver Post receipt. I wanted to remind myself to print that out when I was in my office with a printer. If I move it, I can just move it over here to the next day, and it changes the date and time for me. If I open this up now, you'll see that it says Friday, September 27th.
That is so awesome.
So you can drag in this upper part of your calendar. You can drag from there. You can trash it from there. You can mark it complete from there, or you can move it from there. I guess that's the same as dragging. Sorry, I repeated myself.
That's all right. No, that's all right. And then Mert says you are super organized. And then question, on my gravestone, that's what I wanted to say, Mert. And Mark says, can I see my task on mobile? Yes, I believe you can.
Yes, you can. And Michael, you and I figured that out the other night, remember? Because I was like, I want to see my tasks on mobile. You have to upload the app.
Yeah. So it's not going to show up in your calendar.
That's correct. Even if from your calendar that you're looking at on your mobile, you click the little tasks on the menu, you won't see it there.
You won't see it. Yeah, you won't see the task in your calendar, but you have to download the Tasks app, but you can manage your task very clearly and easily with the app.
And just today, I took a call on the fly, a call I'd been waiting for, but wasn't sure what time it was going to come in. And I knew that I had 6 things on a task list that I wanted to go over during that phone call. But I didn't have to worry, because while I was on the phone, I just went to my task app, clicked on it, pulled up the task list I wanted to reference during the conversation. Boom, boom, boom. Pulled over to the side of the road, by the way.
So nice to be able to see that too, And she says, love the drag and drop calendar option. Absolutely love that. Yeah. Let's see. Ground it. Yeah. He said he
downloaded it already. There you go.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it is extremely useful. I mean, as far as having that on mobile like that and using that quickly. I'm really I love the fact in showing, I'm going to show your screen again. So
and tell me if you want me to open up calendar or mail.
What I love is I just want to emphasize the right size menu, the task and the Google Keep, everything tied together. I'm telling you, I love that. I love having those at your fingertips. So even if you opened up a Google Doc, even if you opened up your calendar, even if you opened up Gmail, your tasks will always be wherever you're working at that point. That's a key thing for me, because a lot of times, look, Heather says, I miss the good stuff.
But guess what, Heather? It's recorded.
That's right. It's recorded, so you'll be able to see it. But to me, having that right there is a key thing, especially when, like I said, I try to do time everything. So I have it all in sequential order by time, trying to figure out what I'm going to, when I'm doing the task and how long it actually takes me. That's kind of my way of saying, hey, look, I have this as a task, especially a repeated task. I have this as a task, but I need to change the time on it for the next event. I need to make sure that this is a 30-minute thing instead of a 15-minute thing.
That is really good for those repeating tasks. I often find, like, if I'm just going to be checking in on a project, I have no idea how long it's going to take me. I could open it up and it could be a hornet's nest. It could be the rest of the day.
And I get that. Some of those tests, you're right.
It's because, you're like, oh, this is going to be no problem at all. And then all of a sudden, 3 hours later, it's like, I really got to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to have to step away from this for a while. But so for me, the only thing I actually assign time blocks to are something like a recording like this, or a meetings. I'll set a limit of 30 minutes for my Zoom meetings. And that's the block of time that I make for that. But my other stuff, I can't really block it. It's like, you got to do it till it gets done.
Exactly. No, exactly. That's exactly right. And oh man, I tell you, sometimes it's just like, okay, but I like it because it helps me. Like, set thing like payroll, because 1 week payroll might be really tough and 1 week payroll might be different. And I have that as a task to do that, to make sure it gets done. Yes, go ahead. And I'm sorry.
I forgot. This is one of my favorite things about a task.
Okay.
I open it up, I start working on it, and I do get interrupted, because life happens. Sometimes something else comes up. I can, in that task, in that details section, I can write down, I got as far as setting this new client up, but I still need to put together email contacts and stuff. I can write, and then I can move that task to the next day, and I see where I left off. And and those notes seem to be pretty unlimited as far as the number of characters you can put in there, because some of my notes have grown and grown, because one thing leads to another, and then he forgot, and then she lost it, and then it got screwed up. And so I keep a little journal in there of what I'm doing. So when I open it up again, particularly when I'm working with the team and they say, give us a rundown on how this particular project is going, I'm like, boom, 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 boom. And I write in a lot of stuff in there about, when I did what, just to remind myself, so I can give a quick report when I'm meeting with the team.
Dear Mert says, can you resize the right section of the screen? No, you cannot resize it. Send feedback. That is a very common feedback thing ever since they came out with that. I send feedback on that all the time, because I'd love to be able to see that or identify that a little bit more, especially the older I get with my eyes. And then she says, I'm on my cell. On your cell, there's no little line. So you're either in the one app or the other. And I think this is what Heather's asking, is Task on mobile. Task is a separate app. It has the little pencil with the dot, I think, on it, or whatever.
That's right. It's a blue square, and it's got a little pencil with a dot.
Yes. Or was that the part that I missed? Yes, it was the part you missed. Oh, just downloaded Task for my mobile. Yep, Task for your mobile is great. And it coordinates. I love it because it coordinates with everything. It ties in with everything. So it's really good. Let me here's one thing that I found. When you're adding a task, if you just add a task, it won't show up in your calendar. You have to go to schedule to at least schedule it for a day, even if that's today.
That's correct. And here's the difference of how that works for me. I have a remote teammate who calls me once in a while and says, when I call you, I'm going to need an update on these 6 projects. So
Okay.
I keep a task list just for him with no dates on it, no times. It doesn't clutter up my calendar at all. But when
Okay.
he calls me, I just go to his task list, and everything that he's going to ask me about, I've been keeping notes over there because I know that he's going to want to cover those when he calls. So it's not cluttering up my calendar at all, but it's still very handy for when he calls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's, I can see now. Collaborative tasks are not collaborative like Google Keep Notes are, where we can share and do all that kind of stuff.
As far as I can tell so far, Michael, no. I haven't. I haven't really explored that, but I haven't really seen any options on any tasks as I'm making them, moving them, and deleting them that suggest that they might be collaborative.
I'm just curious because in business, it's kind of nice to be able to push task, especially for us with work. I'm pushing this task onto you, but I also want to know where you are with it. So when you say completed, I know it. You know, does that make sense?
That makes sense. And that's the way I use Asana for that, because we have teams over there. I use Slack for that to a degree.
I don't like the saunas because it's just too hot for me. I don't like to get, oh no, I'm sorry. That's not what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
I thought you only did that on Game Show and Facebook.
Listen, I like to have fun. I'm sorry.
I know you do. I know you do.
Hold on, Mark. But I get what you're saying. Question: how do I convert those 191 reminders to tasks? I don't see a prompt in the calendar.
Oh, Mark, I'm going to have to go and take a look. I have seen that prompt a couple of times, and I can't tell you exactly where I've seen it because I was like, well, I don't have any reminders, so I don't need to do that.
I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, I can't remember where I saw it. I have seen the prompt.
And I think,
it might be a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 thing too.
No, I don't think so, actually.
Oh, really?
Hang on a second. I am going to, for some reason, I want to say it came from the calendar. And Mark, I'm going to have to get back to you on that. As soon as we're done, I'm probably going to say, oh, it's right there. It was sitting right there for me to do that. But I thought it might have been maybe when I was adding something to my calendar. But
Heather says, nope, he does that here too, Debbie.
I thought this was like business only.
Because this is the one you showed me that's pretty awesome. Could you create a separate task calendar and then share the calendar for the collaboration?
Well, I do have a separate calendar for deadlines. I work with a bunch of writers, and so I have one calendar that is only for deadlines. So it doesn't get, and you could share that one.
But I don't think I think task is for you though. I don't think it ties to that calendar.
You know what? You're right.
Just to your main calendar. So
you're right.
Unless you shared your main calendar, which I don't recommend people do. I'm just saying.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Tasks are just for, calendars only can share events, not tasks.
Exactly. So, boy, we learned a lot today. Mark, keep reminders. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know, Mark. I don't know how to convert them, but it's something that we can look into for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to jot that down, Mark, because I'm loving learning all this new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Debbie, thank you so much for coming in short notice. I don't want to prolong this forever, but we do want to give our community members time to come into the after, what do we call it? Oh,
the after party?
Backstage pass. Backstage, not a little bit different than game.
I'm thinking Friday.
It's a backstage pass. All the community members, we always like to talk about that. Community members are awesome. We do appreciate you. It's a paid for community that our community members, this is one of the benefits. We get to come in and talk afterward with our guests that are on, which is awesome. And Debbie, thank you so much. Short notice. We're going to do this again. I guarantee you, maybe even if you have a little bit more detail or something we can put together where stuff's blurred out, but you know what I'm saying?
So you can see more of the
go more detail.
Yeah.
You can create a fake company or something.
Right.
It's awesome. And I really do appreciate you doing that. I've been wanting to have you on forever.
I know it. This was like I was literally running out of the door when I found out that his guest had to cancel at the last minute, and I was like, oh, what the heck? We'll just wing it.
Wing it, yeah, and that's what we did. Absolutely,
and we wung it.
We did. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Twitch and YouTube, sometimes Facebook and Periscope if it goes out there. I never know whether it goes over there or not. I do appreciate everybody coming in. I want to say, any community member, please join us. Please come in. And then look, Heather says, I'm sorry, my computer died. I'm trying to get backstage pass. All right, no worry. You can see us in the backstage. And then
and you're welcome, Mark, and we want Debbie part 2.
Yeah. No, but you know what? It's really interesting. I can't wait to come into the after show because a couple things that I'm going to talk to you and maybe show you my screen and that kind of stuff and go over a couple things of what because you gave me an assignment after this weekend. You said, use it, try and use it and do all this kind of stuff. And I had a chat with you. Why not just create an event for everything? But we can talk about that more in the after show. Just so those of you that are members, you can hear us talk about it. And if you have more questions, please come in because it makes like, oh, hold on. This is great. I love this. And she says, I appreciate this. You made a big difference in the way of thinking. And that's
cool.
It is. It
That's
changes
cool.
your process. It changes your process of the way you think through things. It did for me this week. Just in work and the things that I was trying to get accomplished and things that I was trying to get done, I actually added some stuff as an event and then some things as a task because I wanted to see how they
play together. Oh yeah, right.
How my brain, which one it went to or did whatever. So I can't wait to tell you about that in the after show. Folks, listen, thank you so much. Anybody that watches this in replay, if you have any questions on any of this kind of stuff, feel free to reach out to me. If it's a question for Debbie specific, I will let her know. She can come back and read the comments, that kind of stuff, once this video gets done. I thank everybody for coming. We will see the members in the after backstage pass. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and we will see you next week. And Debbie, thanks for such short notice and coming on.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Good. All right. And thank you. And let me see. Okay.